So first 2 to 3 classes are for introduction for organic chemistry, and then we'll start the chapter. I'm not starting a chapter directly. First, I will give you introduction of organic chemistry, how we name certain compounds, and then I will start the chapter. I will let you know the moment I will start the chapter. But first, 2 to 3 classes are for introduction of organic chemistry. So for what is organic chemistry? Basically, it is a study of hydrocarbons and their derivatives. So when we study about the hydrocarbon and their derivative, the term here derivative means the things which are formed from these hydrocarbon, we call them as derivative of the hydrocarbon. Yes, you will copy. Once I will explain, then you will copy. Study of hydrocarbon and their derivative, that's the main organic chemistry, or also called a carbon chemistry. So first, the definition of hydrocarbon. The definition of hydrocarbon is compounds which contain carbon and hydrogen only. So those compounds which have carbon and hydrogen, we call them as hydrocarbon. Example, if I write C4 and H10. So this is a hydrocarbon. Why? Because this compound is having carbon and hydrogen only. Another compound, I write C2 and H4. This is also a hydrocarbon because it contains carbon and hydrogen. But if I write C6 H12O6, which is a formula for glucose, so is it a hydrocarbon? C6H12O6, is it a hydrocarbon? So this is not a hydrocarbon. Why? No, it's not a hydrocarbon. Why? Because it also contains oxygen. So basically hydrocarbon means the compound which contain carbon and hydrogen only. Then these hydrocarbons are divided into 3 main classes. A hydrocarbon can be alkane, it can be alkene, and it can be alkyne. How you can distinguish whether a hydrocarbon is alkane, alkene, or alkyne? As you know, carbon belongs to group 4. So carbon maximum can form 4 covalent bonds. What is the alkane? It's a hydrocarbon which contain only a single bond between the carbon atoms. Like there are carbon atoms and they have single bond between them, and other bonds are with hydrogen. So you can see here, this hydrocarbon, between the 2 carbon atoms, there is a single bond. So between the 2 carbon atoms, if there is a single bond, this class of hydrocarbon is known as alkane. Another example, if you have 2 carbon atoms which have double bond between them, so if 2 hydrocarbon, double bond between them and remaining bonds are with hydrogen, this class of hydrocarbon in which there is a double bond between the carbon atom, we call that class as alkene. And the third one,
sir,
yes,
how are we supposed to know if there's a single bond or a double bond?
You can identify from the name itself. If a class of a hydrocarbon, if it's a single bond, the name should have A and E. It will end at A and E. If there's a double bond in the structure, the name should have E and E. And I will give that example as well. If between the two carbon atoms there's a triple bond, so this class of hydrocarbon is called alkyne, and the name should have YNE. So from the structure, you can identify whether it is alkane, alkene, or alkyne. If there's a single bond, it is alkane. If there's a double bond, alkene. And if it's a triple bond, alkyne. From the name, how you can identify. So example, if you have a name of a hydrocarbon such as propane. So if I say a hydrocarbon named as propane, so the name is ending at ane. So what you can say, what will be the bond between the carbon atoms? The bond between the carbon atoms will be single. But if I say propene, the bond between the two carbon atoms, it will be double, and it is propyne.
Sir, there can be unlimited carbon atoms.
It depends on the name. There is a way to identify how many carbon atoms in the substance. There's a table